Hey, it's Amethyst Virgo. I'm here to talk about leadership through the signs. Okay, so excuse me, I do have my notes. This time I wrote them on a piece of paper, so I um I might be looking down a little bit. But when we're thinking of leadership, think of titles. Okay, being a boss, being a supervisor, being an executive director, being a team captain, being a lead, being in any field that requires leadership, where you are managing other people, where you are initiating projects, where you are people are reporting to you, where you have a responsibility, or where you are in some way in charge of something larger than yourself, right? And so when we're thinking of leadership, this is more, can be tailored, of course, to like job positions, but this also could just be thinking of yourself, like maybe you want to lead in something that's not work, but maybe you want to lead in an organization, or you want to lead something requiring, like, other people to join a club, a group. If you have a book club, or you're a lead at your church or something like that, you lead some type of endeavor. So that's what I mean by leadership. But typically we're thinking of people who have titles, people who are part of leadership teams. And the thing I would say here with signs is this isn't a video about which sign is the best leader. There's been leaders of every single sign. Now, I'll talk in a moment about which modality I see rise of leadership a little bit faster than others. But when you think of leadership, I say, as someone who has been a part of a leadership team in an educational setting, there are certain things, and just knowing a lot of leaders over the course of my life and really just seeing how they move, how they got to where they are. I feel like I have enough astrological knowledge and real life knowledge to explain this. So effective leaders have similar drives. Okay. They are people that take initiative. Okay. And we are going to dive into the astrological differences. Also, I would say, if we're thinking of leadership, of course, people may ask me, is this for my sun, my moon, my Mars, my rising? I always say with these videos, since this is not a chart reading, look at the timestamp for the sign you resonate with the most, whatever that is. Okay. Maybe you have a stellium in Taurus, but you're really a Gemini, but you want to look at the Taurus one, that's fine. I would say when we're talking about leadership, I would really want to start with the sun, of course. The sun is the traits that we embody, that we are conscious of, that we are aware of, that exist, right? And sometimes the placements beyond the sun require a little bit more navigation, because the sun, of course, is going to be a little bit more primary. But the sun is not all that we are, of course. I would also look at your Saturn, because Saturn deals with discipline. You have to be disciplined to be a leader. The most irresponsible person in the world is not going to be a good leader. And that's okay. Everyone doesn't have to lead, right? And so we also would want to look at that. Authority is Saturn, so that's why we want to look at Saturn. I also would say Mars, because Mars is directive. It is the planet that deals with a person that has to kind of be that maverick and lead the way and lead the charge. And get things moving and started without fear. So I would look at those placements. Look at your sun, your Saturn, Mars placement, especially if any of those planets have any aspects between them that might be interesting to look at and see how your leadership style may be. So let's dive into Aries. Okay, so the Aries leader in leadership. Aries often wants others to be as ready as they are. So Aries is a don't tell me, show me type of person. You're going to want to show them your idea. You're going to want to do it. You're not going to just want to say it. And they're going to be like, okay, like Aries needs a little bit more dynamic, needs you to be a little bit more dynamic, especially when we're thinking of action and work. And Aries might be the type that, okay, let's put that on the calendar now. Let's do this now. Show me now, right? Showing them, getting them excited for something, because Aries is a sign that deals with movement. And so it's not as much the person's going to mull around over ideas, and we'll talk about the sign in a moment to do that. But Aries is one of the cardinal signs. I would say cardinal energy. I've seen cardinal energy, especially in the settings I've been in, rise to leadership a little bit earlier than other signs. That's Aries, Capricorn, Libra, Cancer to some extent, but definitely Aries, definitely Capricorn, and Libra, because cardinal energy initiates and it's not afraid to get stuff started, whereas other signs may take a little bit more time. So Aries can often create plans that require activity. Okay. All right. Let's all of us get up and let's go over and see how this would look. All right, everybody. Like Aries is their leadership style needs to have a level of focus that is directed to something happening. Okay. So it's not as long playing the long game as much as Aries energy is about let's get something going. Let's get it moving right now. I would say they reward an Aries leader may reward people who are brave, courageous. Wow, you went and did that. Wow, yeah, you tried that. Thanks so much for trying that out for me. Like Aries is going to reward that there's effort to try, and that you're not just kind of sitting like a wet log. Okay, so Aries is going to reward that type of behavior. The need is sometimes the need to allow others to process. If you want everyone to go, go, go at your speed, to be as enthusiastic as you are, the need to understand other people on your team that may need a little bit more time to think about it. Taurus thinks long term. Pretty much I could say the earth signs do that for different reasons, of course. Taurus may lay the blueprint. This is the leader that comes prepared. They know where things are headed. They have a rough draft of something. They start slow. They want to accumulate. Example, they might be the person to say, well, before we do this, we need to get the funds first. And here's how this is going to go. And they might stagger things. Taurus leadership staggers things a little bit more. They might get the resources or get something first and then say, then we'll decide. They play the long game. Not overly risky. There is a need to preserve. This might be a company or this might be somewhere. No, we're not doing that yet. Nope, let's wait. Let's wait until after this quarter and then we'll invest in this and then we'll see. So they seek security before jeopardizing anything. And again, this doesn't have to just be work. This could be other outlets. If you're leading something in another capacity that's not a work position, it's the same kind of concept with Taurus's ability to not just jump on the bandwagon. That's where their ability to be strategic is. It's like we're not jumping on the bandwagon just because everyone else did that, or it doesn't fit our values, right? This may be a company values type of individual, loyal to the values. Taurus leaders are going to reward people who are resourceful. Wow, yeah, you're using that? Oh, yeah, so-and-so. I didn't know we had that, right? They're going to reward people who use what is already at their disposal before trying to look for something new. The need is they need to know when to strike when the iron is hot. I get it. We got to sometimes weigh the pros and cons. We don't want to be risky, but sometimes there can be a great opportunity and it's time bound and we have to, you have to move a little faster. Gemini will talk, the Gemini leader will talk through ideas, even ones they'll never use. And so they like to consider ideas off new information. So, if you want to really, schmooze it up with your Gemini leader, like talk about something new, talk about something you've read. They're going to really appreciate that. They like to stay relevant on what's the latest information. Don't leave them in the dark. Okay. You don't want to leave a Gemini leader in the dark. You don't want to withhold information. They can then make informed decisions. And again, we're talking about Gemini. As a leader, if you're at a leadership position, you pretty much at some point have done something to earn that, okay? So we're not talking about your stereotypes about Geminis. We're talking about if a Gemini has gotten to the point of leadership, what qualities are they likely to have? They do tend to listen to others. This is a sign that is a little bit more adaptable to different influx of ideas, willing to consider, grapple, think about it a little bit. They will reward curiosity. They will reward people who make them think. That's a great idea. I didn't even think of that. Can you pull up that report for me and let me know? Like they're going to appreciate and reward those type of people. And the need here for them is to stay focused on what works for the team. Don't concern yourself so much with irrelevant information. Okay. Sometimes you have to say, you know what, this works right now. This is a cool idea. This is an interesting idea. Nope. Pausing. We're going to keep going the speed we've been going. And then we'll look at that later. Okay. Now, the Cancer leader. Now, the Cancer leader, again, Cancer is one of the other cardinal signs. And Cancer is really more about it. Leading for them has to feel personal. It is something that they have to feel connected to in order to want to lead. But they're kind of a people first type of leader. They're more like, they care more about what and again, it doesn't mean they're all bleeding hearts, but it can mean that these are people that you might even see. Think about like someone that's led a group, a music group. I'm gonna make sure my people get on too. Think of for those of you who remember back in the day, 50 Cent and G Unit, right? 50 Cent was the, he was the rapper that had the most popularity at the time, among his group, and then he got G Unit together, people that he knew, rappers that he knew. So like that's an example of just like Cancer energy, in a way where people a lot of times think of Cancer as emotional, but it's not just about this emotional part. It's I'm looking out for my people first. So when you have a leader, there is sometimes it's more of a human element in how they deal with people. And so, people within their immediate surroundings, they're careful. They work based off needs. What do we need? What does that team need? What do you need? And sometimes, not as much as like Leo or Aries, but sometimes like, those fires sometimes can assume what people need, but I think with Cancer there's a true awareness, even if they can't always verbalize that. They're a leader that kind of want to protect people as well. They might be more invested in work protection laws, or like doing things the way that's correct or right. Maybe it's a leader on a sports team or something like that, and they're like, no, make sure so and so, make sure you have your equipment. Like it's that type of energy. They'll shield you from certain things. They might shield you from the drama. They might shield you from some of the pitfalls of a certain organization. Like they might, kind of hold off certain things. Like they want to protect you. So that's the thing we have to understand. We're not talking about just Cancer as the representation of the moon or mother. We're talking about Cancer as a leader. Now they're going to reward people who are loyal. They're going to reward people who look out for the team, who look out for the company, who look out for the department, who look out. Okay. The need can be not to allow themselves to become too content with trying to source out all the needs that they don't understand the full force of direction, because you can't keep everyone happy all the time. And sometimes you gotta realize that something you're loyal to or people you're loyal to may not actually be, they might be holding you back a little bit. You might have to shake up the team. You might have to choose a different captain. You might have to choose a different executive. You might have to choose someone different. And a lot of times those bonds and those ties, it's too hard for you to do that. Okay, Leo is going to be a big and bold leader. Okay. Leo is one of those dynamic, enthusiastic leaders, dynamic leadership. They expect you though to be as willing as they are to make something successful. So they might expect the same level of enthusiasm, the same dedication, the same zest. They can bring attention though to your organization, to your department, to your team, to whatever it is that they're leading. They're going to bring attention to it, okay? Because they need for people to see that, you're excelling, to see that you're shining. But Leo does sometimes have that pressure, or put that pressure on you, because we're the best. We're going to be the best company. We're going to be the best sports team. We're going to be the best, I don't know, whatever you're doing in leadership, you know what I mean? We're going to be the best, software company. We're going to be the best school. We're going to be the best, whatever. Okay. And so the thing with that is like, whatever they're leading, they want to look good. So there is presentation matters. Okay. Winning matters. Okay. They want to be, the top 3 schools in their district. They want to be the top 3, software of the year. They want to be the top 3 restaurants. It could be a leader and manager, person that created the whole business, and they have people, working under them. Okay. Now they're going to reward people who have heart. You have heart, you're passionate, you're invested. They're going to reward you if they believe you're passionate. The need though, Leo leaders, is to celebrate wins that don't get an award. Notice the people behind the scenes more. That person behind the scenes might be the one that really is making stuff work. But we sometimes, people reward who's the most extroverted, who's the most outgoing, who's the loudest. But really it's the people that came up with the whole plan, and then the other people executed the plan. So making sure that we are also acknowledging those folks as well. Virgo leader. The Virgo leader is methodical. Okay. There's a reason behind everything. There's a reason behind the reason. They're careful. So they're analytical, and decisions are based on data and results. So if you're going to a Virgo leader, let them know where'd you get that idea from? What thought process did you have? Let them know you're thinking to really get a Virgo leader invested in your idea. Okay, they got to know the whys, the whens, the hows. Okay, they want to see the proof. They want to see the proof, and it's not even just proof. It's that Virgo wants to see that what you're saying is feasible and it can work. They're going to have a lot of questions. Okay, so the importance here is going to be coming to them with something that is well thought out. Well thought out enough where they can see where you're coming from. So it might not be always that you have proof, but you have done the thinking, the work before you're bringing it to them. Because they're always going to be evaluating something. When you have a Virgo leader, they're always going to be evaluating. Now, it does not mean, I've worked in leadership at the school level. Like, I don't think it's always that Virgo is critiquing, because that's not what I did every day. I didn't tell someone you're doing something wrong. That's a stereotype about Virgo. But Virgo recognizes what can be better. And a really strategic Virgo knows when to bring things up and when things are part of a pattern versus when things are something you don't have to necessarily bring up, but it's something to keep in mind. So, right, that ability to compartmentalize is possible in a Virgo who has that ability, and who isn't again, it's not about critiquing, this is wrong, that's wrong. It's about, this is a trend here. Let me see how as a leader I'm going to address this whole group. Or that really usually doesn't happen. I'm going to assume that this is the reason that happened today. I'm not going to make a big deal, right? Like Virgo can do that. Not all Virgo people do, but some people are able to do that. Okay. But if something doesn't work, they're going to address it. This isn't a sign. It's like, I hope and I wish. It's like, this is not working. We've been doing this for 3 months. We need to go back. Let's pull up they're going to, Virgo, pull up the PowerPoint. Let's look right here. Pull up the reports. We need to figure out what went wrong. That's the kind of the Virgo leader. Now, they're going to reward people who are punctual and people who do what they say they're going to do. Even if it's not perfect. Like, I'm Virgo, and yes, doing things well, correctly, makes everybody's life easier. But I also know that I value people that try, that attempt it, that do what they say they're going to do, because then if it's not perfect or not correct, there's a way that you can address that and make it better. The needs for Virgo, I would say the need for a Virgo leader is trust your instincts a little bit more. You might not always have a graph data in front of you. Make decisions that feel right, even if there isn't a perfect formula. As a leader, sometimes you do have to make decisions and you don't have all the information in front of you, but you have to use your past experiences and your expertise in order to make certain things, happen. Libra leader. Well, they're very diplomatic. They want to use sometimes relationships to drive outcomes, and they can consider perspectives and give equal weight to those. And I think that is where sometimes we get the stereotype that all Libras are indecisive. Now, there are some that may be more than others. Of course, you can look at decans, you can look at charts, degrees, aspects to figure out if a Libra is more likely to be indecisive. But what I would say is sometimes Libra's really weighing the options. It's not that Libra is intentionally indecisive. It's like, no, I need time to think about this. Venus doesn't move super, super fast. It's not like a Mercury energy. And so they want to make a careful decision sometimes, to be fair. And you might be like, Libra, it's obvious this is the best decision over here. But Libra's like, I got to look at this one too. It can be frustrating, but it makes sense. They tend to unify or create connections across the board. So this Libra wants it to feel like a team. They might want you to feel like Cancer as well, like feel like a family. Let's unify this department, right? Like Libra might be joining two people together that aren't even usually in the same room, right? Libra cares about this vision of like harmony. We're working in the same, we are here to do the same work. We all have the same vision. Like that's a very Libra type of energy of like wanting that harmony within the workplace, within a department, within a team, within an organization, whatever. Because this video isn't just about work. However, that's the capacity that I know leadership in. So that's why I'm kind of framing it in that way. Rewards. Libra will reward people who are impartial, people who don't bring drama. right? They're going to reward and look at that like you are a real team player, right? Like that's what Libra can reward. The need sometimes is for Libra to make the hard decisions in the moment to avoid limbo. Same thing, Virgo, Libra, very different reasons, but the same thing about like striking, knowing when to strike when the iron's hot. I do think there's benefits to waiting. There's benefits. Libra is very intelligent in that regard with the air energy of like, nope, this and this, because there's Libras that can make great decisions because they've done the work. So I'm not saying that it's bad, but sometimes there's limbo, and when you can't make a decision, you got to learn to lean on other skills. Okay, Scorpio calms the storm. Sometimes Scorpio is the storm, but it's because of Scorpio leaders' ability to transform or change the trajectory of something. They don't want something in its original form. By the time they leave that organization, that club, that organization, that place, they're going to have changed it for the better. Hopefully it's going to be, now again, depends on the leader. If you have a leader that isn't effective, it can change it for the worse, but for the most part we're looking at things that they want to change. It's very similar in a way to Aquarius, but Aquarius is different for why it wants to change things. Okay, but Scorpio, it's transforming something into a powerhouse. We're going to make this better. We're going to be able to, it's about getting more from your ability to transform, change, and be seen as something that can garner more investment from other people, because they dive deep into the dirty work. Scorpio can dive deep in the complexity. If there's a company that's about to have a difficult transition, oh yeah, maybe you want that Scorpio doing it, because Scorpio is comfortable amongst some things that are chaotic, because it's like Scorpio knows how to take something and this is what we're doing. It's Mars and Pluto energy. Scorpio knows how to kind of tailor that energy and refunnel it and focus it into something, right? An example is, again, I don't do politics on here. I just do the astrology. But like Joe Biden is a Scorpio that took over from Trump. And think about that whole political energy at the time, and a lot of tensions were heightened when Joe Biden took over. And also, the pandemic was still going on at that time, and so that's an example of like a Scorpio being like, I can do this, right? And again, I'm not here to talk about, what you, if you agree or disagree or think, of his presidency, but that's an example, right? And so I would say, they work discreetly. They're not going to unify departments necessarily like Libra all the way. Sometimes they need to be a little bit more forthcoming. The rewards, they reward people who are, who stick to what they say they're going to do and who have some level of, they have focus. They reward people that have a dedication. They reward people who aren't afraid to do things that are difficult. So wow, that was a very tough project you worked on. Oh, that was a tough move. That was a tough, they appreciate people that can kind of go through the trenches with them. The need for the Scorpio leader is to recognize progress. Abandon fruitless efforts. I know you get so attached to an idea, concept, oh, this is going to work, it's going to make us better. But sometimes you have to abandon ship and say, I know it's fixed water. And you get emotionally attached to something. You're like, no, this idea, man, I thought of it for 2 years, but it's like, you have to know when to change courses. But that's why I think it's great to have different energy on a leadership team. I don't think you have to necessarily cherry pick based on sign. That gets really iffy. If you have not interpreted a birth chart, it doesn't matter to you sun signs about that. Like it's not going to be effective to just say, oh, I need a Libra and a Virgo and a Leo, anyway. So that's what I would say for them to do. Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius. There's a desire to expose everyone to everything. The way like Gemini wants everyone to know things and to be in the loop. Sagittarius wants everyone to have the same experiences. Sagittarius might be a little bit more interested in like that, what's the word I'm saying? Group, teamwork, team building. Because they want people to experience things. So Sagittarius leader might want to train you on everything, but you're like, that's not my department. But Sagittarius is about multitasking. So Sagittarius leader might be like the type of person that wants everybody to know a little bit about everything in case you need to do it. They're kind of like, they multiply impact just in case. They want to appeal to everyone. They're aware of differences. I would say just like, understanding different different groups, cultures, backgrounds, considers the needs of others, perhaps those with disabilities. They might make accommodations in the workplace. Sagittarius understands this need for there to be like this kind of inclusive awareness of everyone. So there might be like a respect factor and respecting people's identities. And just like, I'm not saying that other signs wouldn't do that, but some signs are just a little bit more proactive in certain departments or certain things. They're belief driven. A Sagittarius leader is there because they believe. They believe in the mission. They believe in why you're there. So that's what really drives them. Right? If they're there, they want to be there. Okay. They didn't just decide on a whim to do it, because if Sagittarius is not feeling something, they're going to go find their purpose somewhere else. And I would say they reward people with integrity, people who have good moral compasses. Oh, people who are able to kind of, see people for what they are, people who are, have a level of, yeah, you know what, I really appreciated that you pushed all the way through, even though that was a really difficult time, or I appreciate how you handled that situation. I know that was kind of tough, right? They appreciate people who kind of have principles. The need, slow down. When others have different beliefs, sometimes you can become a little bit intolerant because you're so connected to what you believe. So sometimes it's important, if you become too immersed in your own, ideology, just like making sure that you're making room for new thoughts and new growth in that area. Capricorn, same pressure to succeed as Leo, but to Capricorn, it's based off the work. It's not just about talent, it's developing the mastery of these skills. Capricorn leaders are really disciplined. They tend to want to do things correctly. They want to do things the way they're supposed to be done. Procedures have to be done a certain way. They are going to be checking, okay? All right, now they're going to be checking. Now, if it's a Capricorn with some Virgo in their chart, they're going to be checking. They care about the reputation of the team, the organization, whatever it is that you're a part of, the group. It's important. Awards are great because it shows proof that the work was done, proof that you have the ability, that you're the best, that you have, you've disciplined enough, you're structured enough that to actually make some level of accomplishments. So Capricorn, again, Leo, both care about awards and accomplishment, but for different reasons. I would say Capricorn rewards excellence, right? Pristine. They reward people who have a good level of self-respect, dignity, and they reward results. And the needs for Capricorn could be let go of standard procedures that are old or outdated. Letting go sometimes of those things that no longer serve a purpose. Aquarius. So kind of like how Scorpio can be in crisis mode and transform an organization or something. Aquarius wants to change to revolutionize, right? It's like, we're changing this whole company. We're changing this company's name. We're changing the name of this software. We're changing the name of this, of this organization. We're changing the name of this. They're fixed. They're fixed. So it's different than like Gemini, where Gemini, it wants to disperse this information. Aquarius wants to kind of pioneer through their approach. So they've already kind of thought things out, and they just need people to rally around them that have shared ideals. And that could be good or bad. Like, they're willing to accept your idea, to listen to it. But if they have already made a decision mentally, it's a little bit harder to get them to change that. They might have new age ideas or concepts that are unpredictable or revolutionary, especially when we think of technology. Again, it's about revolutionizing. We're changing something. The old way doesn't work anymore. We're going to do it differently. They reward people who are open-minded and willing to change. People who are willing to do the unexpected. People are willing to dive in, even if you don't know what is going to come from the situation. The need for Aquarius, don't completely abandon consistency due to chasing something new and innovative. Sometimes we do have to pause and say, you know what? We're doing great. We don't need to keep reinventing the wheel. Pisces, the Pisces leader is going to be imaginative. And it's not just about being an imaginative because it's a Pisces person. It's imaginative and your vision coming to reality. Because the biggest thing about Pisces is not just living in that daydream world, but it's about the Pisces leader vision comes true. It's the person who wanted something. They started off really small 10 years ago, and now they have a big, massive business or something like that. Okay. A pure Pisces doesn't easily shoot down ideas. They see the possibility in almost any idea, which can be great, especially in the arts or any type of creative field working with a Pisces leader, because there's this kind of like stream of like, okay, more, give me more ideas, give me more ideas. And it's kind of conglomerate of things together. Remember, Pisces is about humanitarianism, universalism. And, you know, just because they're not, you know, they're not going to shoot down ideas because they're not conceptualized. Where again, like I said, if you want to go to their opposite sign, Virgo, again, depends on the whole chart. Everything depends on the whole chart. But Virgo might need a little bit more like, I thought of this because of this and because of this. And this is going to work because of this. It's an earth sign, you know, but Pisces leaders see the possibilities and they're more willing to give people chances. And it's like, and especially an intuitive person, like, and it's not just a Pisces sign thing, but Pisces can give a chance. Let's give this person a chance. I believe in them. And the other sign might be like, whoa, Capricorn, I need to see their resume. No, I don't see any proof that they can do this, right? This sign might be like, no, let's see what they can do. The rewards are, they reward people who have faith and vision, people who are visionaries. They reward those folks who think outside the box in ways to kind of connect everyone. They reward people who are, you know, creative and not just doing the same old thing. And people who are flexible. Their need, the need for Pisces leaders, not to be led to visions that are not backed by reality, and to have boundaries of what can be done. Everything can't be done, or everything can't be done within a certain time limit. There might be something better off for 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, 5 months. So just also towing that line as a leader and saying, you know what, that's a great idea, Tommy. It's not really going to work right now. But let's write that down as our notes and let's put that in our calendar to talk about again in 6 months. Like allowing yourself as that leader to sometimes have that fine line of like, everything's not going to work, right? Even though I want to believe in everything, like how can I really be realistic in the visions that I have to really make this you know, this thing that I'm a part of successful. So that was it for this video. Hopefully someone found value through this video, and please hit the like button. Thank you for watching.